Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. This is the review episode for for me at least, a boring Fulham game. We won 3 points. Everton. Yeah. So, boring Everton game. See, that's how much I thought it was boring. And today I have with me Arun and Deepak. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Before we started, though, I will not mess this up. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment in, and press the bell icon. And also before the start, that's how much time we took to take that corner. Fuck you, Sky Sports, for making that a big deal. 26 seconds. That's how much we took to take that corner.
People must have been confused. Like, do these guys know what's going on? Are they aware that the recording is on?
No, it's literally like, see, we won a game. I am of the point that we didn't play. I mean, we played very good, but it was not entertaining enough or whatever it is. But it was not something that is beyond the rules, or there is nothing to complain about the game, the result itself, apart from Arsenal fans who think that we should do better. Why are Sky Sports coming into this game and talking about how much time we take for a fucking corner?
They need something to complain about, right? Yeah.
About Arsenal.
Yeah, but like 26 seconds. We literally proved right now what 26 seconds is. It's nothing. Even our viewers didn't the time that they would have taken to realize that there's something happening is 26 seconds.
Anyway. Plus, in that stadium with all the noise and everything, 26 seconds would not seem like too much.
Yes, exactly. So
it worked. It could. So yeah.
but let's go back to the game. For me, as I keep saying, right, it was not the most entertaining game. Although we broke the curse, so to speak. Like, we have not won there. And even the game result was like, it has always been that one goal, whether it's a 2-1, 1-0, 0-1, whatever the score line, it has always been with Everton. That's the kind of results that we always seem to get. And a 1-goal win is a win at the end of the day, and we are in the top 4 at the end of the day. Deepak, what are your thoughts on this, this result?
I'm happy that we won. I didn't expect us to even like get a point. I said we would draw 1-1. That was like an optimistic prediction. So I'm glad that we won. It's not, the game was, of course, we didn't expect like 3-0, 4-0 end-to-end game or something. This Arun also predicted that it's going to be an ugly 1-0 win, which is what we got against thugs.
Against an ugly team, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good result. We move on, and we are still on track for Arvind's prediction of 38 Invincibles.
Invincible season still on. There are like so many teams right now with Invincible on right now. All four teams. But one of those is gonna break this week. At least I hope it's not us. But Arun, it was a surprising starting 11, at least for me, because even when we were talking about, we talked about, we all talked about like Kai Havertz getting replaced. That was, something that most Arsenal fans wanted. Some of them could come back and say like, no, we do not want it. I'm not saying everyone, but most of the Arsenal fans. But from Ramsdale getting replaced with Raya, that was a very surprising thing for me, especially
I
against especially against Everton, because we know Everton are this physical team, and Raya is the shorter keeper of the both, right?
I was very surprised too. I wasn't expecting Raya to start. That was a huge surprise. Ideally with the Champions League game coming midweek, you would have thought that he would make his debut for us in the Champions League game. But then, I was very surprised to see him at the start. And that was a name that I definitely did not expect. Another one was, again, like we spoke, Vieira for Havertz and Eddie starting was also something that I did not expect. We thought football managers, and Arteta played like an actual football manager, so that's how I see the difference. Raya was interesting. You're absolutely right. He's a shorter keeper and you wouldn't expect him to play in a game like this. But I saw a very interesting stat. Last season,
Yeah.
he was the one who had second highest number of ball collections inside the box for all goalkeepers. I don't remember who the first one was. I think it was one of the big guys, but he had and we know how Everton try to attack inside the box with a lot of balls, right? So it sort of, when we started the game, it made sense. Plus, again, he was very unperturbed during the game. He had almost nothing to do almost the entire game. I think he had one save, if I remember right.
Yeah, but he also did the sweeper keeper thing where he came out quite sometimes
Yeah,
and
but
was a very
again,
impressive.
yeah, but I wouldn't say that he has to be the first choice, or right now my take on Ramsdale versus Raya is I want to see more of Raya before I take a stand on it.
But I mean, I only asked this because I wanted to bring the Arteta's interview post game about the
I
decision of
loved it.
Raya.
I loved it.
Yeah,
It was
it's a nice way to deflect from stupid questions
Yeah,
coming up,
exactly. That's
right?
how I felt. You're asking, the reporter is asking a question that just to get some bits, just to get something out of the manager's mouth, with all that happening with Ten Hag, Sancho, and all that. All that the media is looking for right now is some sort of a response from a manager, one place where the manager can slip and they can pounce and attack. He
But
didn't
but
give them
we
anything.
but he did give them anything, or at least he gave me something. When asked about what is this decision, and he was talking about oh, I wish I'm a young manager. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have an eidetic memory to say the exact words, but I'm a young manager, so I was not ready to take some risks. And there were some games where I wanted to substitute the goalkeeper, and
Yeah,
one of it was 68th minute, which I think is the Fulham game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
probably. Yes.
And
yeah.
and it did. I mean, first of all, Fulham game, I don't think it was Ramsdale's fault. Substituting a keeper is not going to save that game, or I don't see how I mean, two parts of it. One is I don't see how substituting a goalkeeper during a game is going to help a goalkeeper, because goalkeeping is a position like strikers that requires the run of game, the way which they could have that chemistry with the back line. They have to have the confidence to substitute someone mid game in a for a goalkeeper is kind of bringing down the confidence. And the second thing is, I don't see a lot of difference between Raya and Ramsdale. At least when I look at their stats, the style of play and stuff, both are similar. There are one area where one is better than the other by a slight margin, but it's not like two different types of keeper. One is this short stopper thug, and the other one is this pass master. There's no that difference between both the keepers. So I don't
No,
see the
Raya
point at all.
has last season, Raya had better stats in everything than Ramsdale, if you
Yeah,
look at the stats.
yes.
And he played with an inferior team as well. Brentford is not a bad team. They are a really good team. But passing wise, Raya is better.
Yeah.
It's easy to
But
see.
what I'm
Like
saying,
Arun said,
what I'm
crossing
saying
wise,
is,
Raya is better.
see,
Yeah,
I
it might be revolutionary. Yeah, it will
no,
change, like
That's
you said.
I am on that. I think Arvind was the one who predicted in one of the episodes. I think it was here or at Vadal, and he said this could possibly be something that the manager tries. When we were talking about to having two top keepers in there, This could be something that, like, the manager could try. I don't, to be honest, I don't see why something of that sort should not happen, because the player, with the evolution of the playing styles that we have, the keeper's role is not just shot stopping. He's becoming a part of the attack. He's playing, like, that's why we call them sweeper keepers, when sweeper used to be a position on its own like 40 years ago. Right now we are having these keepers who act as the last line of over their last line of defense, and they're able to actually, like, play with the ball, the confidence that they have. So it's the entire team is running on horses, like, on the concept of horses for courses. That's what I felt, and that's why I felt like, Kai Havertz would play because of Everton. But it doesn't really seem. I think, like, we are just waiting on, like, a mistake or like something. I saw this on Twitter. We want the manager to be ruthless. We want him to make changes, but when he makes changes involving the people that we like, we don't accept it, which is very true when it comes to whatever Arteta has been doing or whatever we've been talking about. Like, Vieira, for example, he had, like, in my opinion, for large parts of the game, he had a very similar game to what Havertz did.
Yep.
He was not, he was like good. He was sprightly and all that, but like, as an overall impact in the largest scheme of things of this particular game, he did the same thing that a Havertz should have done, in my opinion. But we don't question that because we wanted Vieira to be in there. And that was a decision that the manager made, which was in line with our favorite player wanting to play. But at the same time, we question this tactic about Raya because Ramsdale is someone that we're more endeared towards Ramsdale, and that's what I find as a change. But like Deepak said, it could be something revolutionary. I really appreciated the way in which he spoke about it, and he was like ready to accept his shortcoming or lack of confidence in doing that. Like, the more we keep talking about this in negative terms, the more it is going to stop him from making decisions like this. I've seen this happen in other sports before. So for me, like, it was like, as someone who watches hockey, I've seen this happen when, like, goalkeepers over there, goaltenders, who, if they let in a lot of goals in, they would ask to be subbed off. The manager even doesn't have to take a decision there. They would ideally ask to be, like, subbed off because I've conceded 6 goals. I don't have the confidence to continue. It's not about Ramsdale not having the confidence, but it was about Arteta having a little more confidence. And we spent 3 million on him. Like, he has to get chances, and like, he is getting his chance. So it's not, like you said, it's not like one goal is a shot stop goalkeeper is a shot stopper and, like, is just using his body, and the other one is going to be, like, doing magical things with his distribution and all that. Both of them are equally good at what they're doing. So seeing them both play, I was like, in whatever games and whatever situations that the manager wants to put them in, would be a refreshing change, in my opinion. The way in which the manager views the players, even his response for someone when they ask who's number one, his immediate response was, what is Fabio Vieira's number? Mm-hmm. So he's treating them as 11 players who are going on that pitch, and the 11 players who are on that pitch on that particular day are the ones who are expected to perform, and perform they did. So, like, I really don't see any issues in the goalkeeper being subbed off. Maybe, like, more managers might start doing this more often. Like, we saw that in the World Cup. Was it this one or the one before, when Tim Krul was brought in just to save pens? And that was a new thing, right? We never had that, like, happen before. We saw that happening. And that, at that point in time, was hailed as a genius decision.
It was done before. I think Chelsea did it, right? Like, when they brought in, or Chelsea or Real Madrid, someone did it to bring in, like, the
Chelsea tried to do it, but Kepa didn't come out.
yeah, Kepa, yeah. He was, yeah, that's true. Like, the Sari.
I didn't try to make fun of Chelsea. It so happened. So I just want to clarify that.
No, like, yeah, but like everyone, like, second favorite team, Brighton, they are doing this, but no one batted an eye because
exactly.
It's Brighton. Because the first 2 games they had one goalkeeper, and then Steele started the next 3 games, and there is the talk that the other keeper is going to come in. So Brighton is as much as tactically flexible team right now in Premier League. So if they are doing, and of course it's Arsenal, so they will magnify everything. So yeah, I think this might be a good change. And I think Ramsdale is the kind of a character who just takes up on a chin and, like, just moves on and puts his best. and
Oh,
come
the
back
rumors
into the
have
team.
started. I loved it today in the morning. I checked Twitter and the rumors, within 24 hours of him not getting a shot,
Yeah,
he has been linked with Chelsea. He has been linked with Bayern. And apparently, there were a lot of talks in the club about Ramsdale's discipline and the way he was performing. And they were like, they wanted to get Raya in for that reason. And I'm like, come on, you guys did not disappoint me. I was expecting this. Just a small bit of disappointment was I expected this to come out yesterday, and it came out today. Like
It
they
was like a
should
lazy Sunday, so all the
exactly. They took that
conspirators
24
took it.
hours. So that's how I felt. Like it's like Deepak said, just because we are doing it, it's being like magnified and it goes a lot under the radar. No, it doesn't go on it doesn't escape the criticism. Rather, if Pep had done this and it had worked, they would have praised him to the mighty heavens, saying that he is the next incarnation of whatever. If you want to view football in a human form, that would be Pep, because he's like substituting a goalkeeper, he's rotating goalkeepers. It
Um,
just seems like but to be honest, I really love the answers that he gave. It sort of gives us more insight into what he's trying to achieve at the club. Like, be prepared for all situations, be prepared and ready to play the ugly game and win, and have the right people performing for the right games.
mhm.
So I really enjoyed like what he said.
Deepak, bringing back to the conversation to the game, the first goal was actually scored by us. Um, I don't know, like rules. That part of the rules is still a little bit of mystery to me, because it did come out of the Everton player, but what the rules or whatever the people who are defending that decision are saying, that it was not an intentional pass from the Everton, or like it was not aimed at this, like it was a deflection or whatever that was. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, that was a brilliant play. And also it was a brilliant finish by Martinelli too. Like, he took that chance really well, even though
yeah. That
he
was
went.
like a nice goal. I
Mhm.
think like two or three parts back, I said offside is not subjective. It's offside or it's not offside. But when you add more variables to it, right, it becomes some kind of a black and white thing. Like it's like a gray area where I if that if that pass from an Everton player was not intentional, and of course Gabriel's pass was also not intentional. It wasn't meant for Nketiah, Eddie.
Mhm.
It was meant for who's that? Saliba.
Mhm.
So I feel it shouldn't have been an offside
Mhm.
because Eddie wasn't even in that play near the play. So, but yeah, I think it's a kind of a tough thing. Like no one understands that part of offside clearly. Like actually, it's not at all defined clearly in the first place. Even you can't blame the ref for giving offside.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the pass was like it was a nice pass from Vieira and Martinelli finished. Of course, I expected Martinelli. It's a typical Martinelli goal.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry, I
also
think I missed it. So like, did you guys agree that it was an offside or no?
no. we
I have
uh,
no idea why that goal was ruled offside. I absolutely had no idea.
yeah, exactly,
I
that's what
read
we were
through
talking about.
some stuff. Yeah, I read through some article in Athletic. They have explained it for like a page why it's offside
What
or
is
something.
What is the TLDR?
It's Arsenal, so it's offside. That's it. We didn't.
And then Ten Hag will come and complain that why was this an offside or whatever. Yeah, he complains so much. But Arun, like, now that Martinelli is out, hamstring, I don't know how long he's going to be out. At the minimum, I'm thinking like 20 days or something, usually for
They're saying
hamstring.
like, I think like 4 to 8 weeks minimum.
Yeah. But Trossard came in. He plays a different way to Martinelli. Martinelli stretches the pitch, and that's why that goal is actually typical Martinelli goal, because he stretches that pitch, like when the play is compressed, he stretches the game and takes that goal. And Trossard is that in between lines, like running into the middle kind of player. And we saw that, like, his finish was spectacular. Like, that goal and the finish was amazing. But even the
He
way he plays
hardly
his.
misses when he gets to that position. He hardly ever misses. It doesn't matter which foot he gets the ball on. He hardly ever misses.
But the interesting thing was, I've been seeing this going around, right? Like where Zinchenko pointing to the bench and saying this.
Arteta, like,
Yeah,
Mm.
and it was interesting because like I was looking at the stats, and I think 16 was the magical number, where from last season to now, Arsenal have scored or benefited from 16 set piece routines, mostly corners, to get their goals, which is the highest in the division.
Yeah.
And that is very interesting because like in this game, especially because we played a completely different corner routine. We have been trying this on and off,
Yeah.
like where we are taking this short corners, compressing the play, and then like taking the shot from outside the box.
And so not just the short corners. I don't know if you noticed during that phase of play when we were like trying to get the ball out, all the overload that we did was with all the technical players in the team.
Yeah.
It was
Zinchenko.
Saka, Zinchenko, there was Fabio Vieira, and then there was like all of these technically sound players. Not that the others aren't. We have like players who are specifically suited for our style of play, but these are the guys who are able to get out of tight spaces with their ability to either dribble out or like their ability to like pass the ball, do a nutmeg and get out or whatever it might be. So
I was literally, when I was watching the game, like corner after corner, it was falling to Zinchenko. Like I think 2 or 3 corners were falling to Zinchenko, and I was going like, "Why are we making this thing go?" And then suddenly
it was frustrating until we actually saw the patterns and we were able to see it. That's what differentiates us from actual managers, I guess.
Exactly. I was like, "What are you doing?" And then that's why you were doing that. Like,
I was like, "Why are you giving us corners? Why are you guys going for corners? You're not doing anything with it. Just don't do it." And then, like when things went in and I saw the replay, I was like, "Okay, there's a specific pattern that they're trying to keep repeating, and at some point in time, it has to work." That's what happened.
Yeah, plus Everton are huge. Like, there is no point in crossing. Somehow they are going to clear the ball. And Pickford is also really good in air. He comes and collects the balls easily. So this was like a good tactic to do, and it paid off.
But the thing is, right, like for me, okay, we have talked about, because I was told that I'm being too negative even on our wins. That's why I talked about all the positives. Now I want to talk about a little bit about the negatives, right? For this season till now, it feels like our forward line isn't clicking. I mean, it's not about like chance creation or like, conversion, or like it's not one piece. It's like the entire system. Maybe it's because of how we played last season, the start of last season, how it was all flamboyant. We were like scoring at will. We were like having these chances created, like lot of different players, getting the goals and stuff. Like right now, I think we have like 9 goals scored. I think we have 9 goals scored versus like someone like, I think Brighton has the highest, 15 goals scored. And just checking, maybe I'm wrong. Brighton has 15 goals and City has 14 and Tottenham has 13. So we have 9, which is lower than West Ham and Aston Villa. Yeah. Is that a concerning factor? We are getting points, but that we are not clicking attacking wise. Is that a concerning factor?
I don't think so. We have created enough chances. I think the goals would start coming. Plus, if you compare last season, of course, like people have realized that Arsenal are a real deal. So obviously they're going to start parking the buses and figuring out stuff. So I think Arteta and the team are trying to work around that, and I think eventually we would start scoring more goals. And still, like, we have that issue of like scoring 1 or 2 goals and sitting back, that period of lull where the other team comes back. So that is something we need to like iron out. But I don't think so. This is a problem. I think we would eventually start scoring 3 goals.
For me,
comfortably winning games. Yeah.
For me, the thing is, it's also like not just about us not scoring goals. It's like, who are our scorers till now, right? Like all our big hitters, as in like Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli. These are players who are not getting those numbers in at this moment. Yeah, Saka got an assist, but all the detractors will say, "Oh, start padding Saka," because that was not really an assist, but it is an assist at the end of the day. So suck it up the same way about the 26-second rule. But that's one of my problems, Arun, right? Like that our big hitters or big scorers or big impact makers are not actually impacting the game in that end of the pitch.
I have a different take on this. Like we spoke about the number of goals that we scored, but think about it this way: we are playing with the level of control that is preventing the opposition from scoring goals in open play, and that is something that it's a higher level of control which is going to keep us more sustainable in the long run against any kind of opposition. An eye test versus, I think this is a great example of eye test. I was on the same board as you were. Of course, we've spoken about this a lot before in terms of the fluidity going down, but we also added the caveat that it's because of the new players getting added, which is going to like impact the fluidity. But in spite of that part, what I'm seeing right now is the amount of control that we had in those games. It's like an example of stats versus eye test, I would say. Like, we are seeing the game, we are saying, like yesterday's game, for example, for large parts of the game in the first half, we were not great. All that we were doing was we had like the possession, we were trying to go in, but we did not really have like anything that we did exceptionally well with the ball when we had the ball, you know but at the same time, we did not let Everton do anything either. And that was their main strength, was to like wait and hit us on the counter. Like, wait for the ball and then use their physical strength to win the midfield battle when we get exposed, because we are always going to be playing a high line.
I mean, I need to stop you at that moment, like hitting us on the counter. There was a moment where like they tried to do that, and Ben White was like, he's the master of dark arts. The
Yeah.
guy, he just pulls the hand of the Everton player and then runs past him and then nicks the ball. And it feels like, oh, this is a great defensive thing from Ben White. Yeah, it is a great defensive thing, but he's also like cheeky as fuck.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like, we have conceded 4 goals. You're talking about the goals scored. We've conceded 4 goals, and only 4 chances have been proper goal scoring chances have been created against us. And that's where I feel that it's like the level of control and the field. It was an interesting field tilt is a new thing that I didn't know about until yesterday, until I saw the tweet today. And it's sort of the number of relevant touches that we have in the final third of the opposition. And out of all the games, I think except for the game against Crystal Palace, we've had like at least 80% field tilt in our favor, which means that we are getting into the right position. Like Deepak said, goals coming in is just a matter of time. And we know that we have people. It's not like we have people who don't know how to score goals or not have scored goals in the past. Like Saka, for example, yesterday's game might seem like a very quiet game from him, but he actually had a pretty good performance in terms of doing what he was supposed to do in the game, stretching the pitch and then like taking 2v1s, 3v1s and clearing space for the other players. So for me, like it's a minor cause of concern I find at this point, which would eventually be ironed out once we get like more of the combinations right. The way in which we are trying to play, we are trying to get more combinations in to work at any like. There should never be a situation where we should be like, oh, we lost this game because Saka wasn't present. We lost this game because Partey is not a part of the lineup. That should not be happening for a big team, which is again like another thing for me. Martinelli got injured. Unless we have 10 players injured, I'm not going to complain about the squad. That's a squad that we built. We trusted these players. We have Trossard, we have Nelson. So we cannot keep complaining. So for me, the thing that we are trying to do is like making sure that we have a defined set of style of play that would be effective no matter who's present or what's happening. This was supposed to be like, the ideal thing in the past, but then like we are getting to that stage right now. And Havertz being new is sort of what's disturbing the balance in there. But once he gets in the numbers, I think that will also work. So minor concern, but we're winning. I expected this, to be honest. I expected this, like not for us to not score a lot of goals right at the start, because you're replacing a dynamic player in Xhaka and all that he did last season with someone new who shot on confidence. So whoever plays,
shout out to Xhaka though. Xhaka, not just Xhaka. I started because of him. I started following Bundesliga a little bit. And if you guys want to watch, Bayer Leverkusen is the team to watch right now.
Yeah.
Xabi Alonso is doing great, and the team is like playing a very fine way of football that is very fun to watch. If you guys like, I mean, just
Even
it's not a promo, but like yeah, it's a promo.
even if you take stats, right? Ode has scored 2, Saka has scored 2. What they scored 14 goals or 15 goals last. It's like it's the same average they are on. You are if you like they would reach eventually, like let's say 12
10
or
plus,
13
yeah,
goals.
10, 15 goals. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like we're not
We
the
don't
kind of
have
team.
someone like Haaland or
Haaland,
someone who
exactly my
can
point.
score
Yeah,
35 goals.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Also, like, is it because of like Eddie and last season kind of Jesus started on like such a flying note that was also coming in playing in a
Yeah,
factor.
that is also a factor, right? Like
Because Eddie, like
there's
someone like Eddie needs a Vera more than a Havertz, whereas like Jesus can play with anyone behind him. It doesn't matter who's there. So we have like two different profiles of strikers, and we have to like sort of have situations where both of them can play.
so yeah, like Eddie had a poor game because yeah, it's against Everton. They sat back. I think, but yeah, he has to take these chances where what he's getting right now, right? He had like 2 or good runs, but if you see, there were like 2 or 3 instances where Vieira and someone else also had a really good cutback. So these are the chances AD has to take. He has to put little more effort and try to get it at the end of the crosses and stuff so that he can prove more that he deserves to start. So I think he probably might be dropped again for Northern that Derby for sure, I guess.
Hmm.
Because I think even against United, he did have a decent game, but not a great game.
Hmm. So okay, I think it's time to wrap up about this game because we have been talking about it for quite some time. One last question is like, who would be your man of the match for the game? Deepak.
Man of the match, I would say like Rice. He had complete control of the midfield. They didn't have a sniff of anything in that midfield. Those three, Onana, Ducore, and there was only one instances where Ducore got away from Rice. Apart from that, he simply like I think he's playing double like the pivot lone pivot role for the
Mhm.
first time. I guess he used to play with who's that in West Ham also like double pivot, and
Yeah.
he was like
Which
phenomenal. Yeah. So I think it would be Rice or probably Trossard. Trossard didn't start well for the first 10-15 minutes after he came on, then, but I guess he picked up. But I would say Rice.
Arun, who would be your man of the match?
Rice. It was either Rice or Trossard, but like Rice was more consistent throughout the game than Trossard. So
Okay.
Trossard like needed like his first half wasn't great, first 20 minutes weren't great, but like he settled more into the game and he started doing more. But yeah, like definitely like Rice. Yeah, no doubts about it.
Okay, so that's our review of the Everton game. So if you have any more comments, you can like comment in. But to continue with our news section about the rest of the Premier League, we will go through the games. First game, Arun, I'll start with you. Wolves versus Liverpool. Uh, I mean, it was an expected result, but it was such a surprising week though. A lot of 3-1 wins, and this was the first 3-1 win. Like, were you surprised by anything in that game? Like how late Liverpool left it? Like it was
No,
85th
I was
minute.
expecting it to be a game like this. Like McAllister was having a harder time as the number 6 there. So I was expecting them to win, but I knew they will have some issues, and that's exactly what happened. It's Liverpool. I mean, like for the attack that they have, unless you're like a defensively good team, you're definitely going to get thrashed, and you need to be a team that can make use of the fact that they don't have a proper midfield. If you're not able to do that, then you're definitely going to lose.
I
And that's
mean,
what
when is Thiago gonna play? That
it
guy
doesn't
is.
matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't think he's going to
They
play, but
have like so much backup in midfield. They
yeah,
they are
it's just that
stacked.
they don't have a functional midfield, but like they have a lot of numbers definitely, and they're not low quality either. Like Endo might be an unknown commodity, but he's a functional defensive midfielder, decent defensive midfielder who would probably like help them a lot in the Europa League. But otherwise, like if you're going to let their attackers score, then yeah, you cannot do anything. They're going to, once they get into that rhythm, they're going to keep scoring. That's what they'll
Yeah.
do. And all of this without Salah scoring. That's
Yep.
the most important part, is the way in which his role has changed at this age in a league like the Premier League is definitely appreciable. I mean, like, there's so many people who keep comparing Hazard with him. Like, Salah is on a different.
It's a no competition.
It's yeah, it's like he'll end up as the best right winger to play in the Premier League, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's a
like
high
Unless-
people discounting, yeah, like Liverpool are like stupid. They are definitely title challengers.
Definitely, yeah. Like with Caicedo, it would have been more confident and probably like a better chance than what I would give us. But like, thank God they didn't get like a proper defensive midfielder.
Deepak, the second game I need to talk about is Tottenham Sheffield United. I mean, Tottenham were outplaying Sheffield for most part of the game, but still, they were not the one leading. But that last two goals and like Richarlison breaking his, his duck.
Yeah. I think like if they had won even like 3-0 or something, I wouldn't have been worried. This was like this gives them a high coming into North London derby, like winning at the end of almost the last kick. So it's kind of dangerous. I'm like looking forward to the game, but yeah, I think they are playing really well. Maybe it was Kane who was causing the curse.
Was the
No.
problem.
I
But
think
still, yeah,
it's going to
it
burst
won't.
at some point.
They
I'm
are
gonna
not
say
going to win anything for sure this season. But yeah, they don't have Champions League, so they are definitely contenders for a top four.
Hmm.
it's going to burst at some point. I'm telling you
Yeah.
here. It's definitely going to burst at some point.
It's like new manager bounce. It's just 5
Exactly.
games and let them
Like
do
if-
this for 15, 20 games and then people can start talking more about that. But like given the manager, he's very personable and stuff. I guess yeah, people
and
you're
that's what
always like an underdog story, right? And of course, was the darlings of English media.
media, yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
just let's wait. If they try and if they come and try to play the same way that they are doing right now at the Emirates, we'll skin them alive. So let's see
Yeah,
what
they're
if they
very
try to
open.
press us, and if they try to sort of like play the same, playing out of the back and like trying to do all those cheeky cutesy things with us, they're done for. So let's see how they approach that game.
Yeah, they haven't played a good team yet. They played United, but you know how United are in shambles. They haven't I can say they haven't played a properly coached team.
I mean, that is what we haven't done either, right? Like, we haven't played any big
Yeah.
teams either here.
We
Yeah, that's
have,
another reason why it seems like we are very disjointed, mainly because like we are, like Deepak said, teams have started taking us seriously. So all of them are either playing a low block or mid block. We have not actually played a team that plays football against us. They're all waiting for the mistakes that we make, right? So that could also be another reason why things aren't happening properly.
They have played like properly coached team, right? Like we have played Fulham, they are really well drilled. Same with Crystal Palace. Spurs played a really well drilled Sheffield United team. That's why it took them like 2-1, like a last gasp winner. So yeah, it would be a like fun game next week.
Yeah, we'll do the preview later this week. Arun, the next game is West Ham City. Everything that people have been talking, praising.
I didn't see that game because there was something more fun and exciting going on the other channels. So I didn't, because and watching a City game was the most boring waste of 2 hours if you're not a City. Honestly speaking, you know what's going to happen. All this like West Ham, like scoring a goal and like making it seem like they can get something out of this game. It's all just eyewash. I don't believe in these things. Whether City are playing at home or away,
No,
it's boring.
It's just so fun because the English media at least have been going on about like how West Ham is the story of the season and all those things, conveniently forgetting Brighton, how brilliant they've been playing. And then West Ham goes to Manchester City and West Ham knits together 300 passes, I think, versus City, who are knitting like 760 or like double, triple time. They just killed the game.
Moises' football heritage didn't work here, I guess. The
It's
Premier
just
League
like-
heritage football.
They just scored whenever they wanted. It was so
They
fun to
just
watch.
destroyed West Ham. They had one chance, they scored. They could have scored three in the first half itself. Haaland missed couple of hitters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were simply
they
outplayed.
just scored whenever they wanted. That's how it looked like. You know, they
I
just
think we
like
were talking in the group. You were in there, like, a friend Rohit was actually saying that, like, West Ham, I believe that West Ham will get a point out of this game. I told him the same thing. It doesn't matter whether West Ham score one or two. City are definitely going to score at least 3 goals, and that's what happened.
But the most fun game of the weekend is the Brighton United game.
I loved it. Oh my God. Was the amount of fun that I had watching that game. I'll let Deepak say stuff, but it was so
Yeah.
good. It was like, I don't know if it's a manager or the players, but watching our players react to losing a ball or losing a duel and watching their players do the same, it was night and day. And this is not a team, if things are not changed, they're not going to be like, they're going to struggle for a top four. It's the
Yeah.
players' attitude is
I don't
very,
think they're gonna make top four. Definitely not.
it's very stinky. Like, a guy like Rashford, if he's just going to be a one-trick pony and he's not going to, like, he's 27, 28 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's unbelievable how inefficient he was. I really couldn't believe it.
I
Like,
mean,
this
United fans would come at you for this. Rashford is
come
a
at me, like,
generational talent.
if you really saw that game and if you're still going to be talking like that about your own players and, like, hyping them up when they're being absolute shit, like, you don't deserve to watch football, honestly.
United fans don't like Rashford. That's another thing. They don't like Rashford. Like only like 10 to 15% like Rashford. According to others, he's a bum, which is 100% true. He doesn't know anything other than just cutting back on his right foot and just not even placing the shot, just hitting with the entire power he has on his leg. He could have just easily crossed the ball to Hoyland. He would have had a tap in. He can't even like look up and do
So
something.
many
He's
situations.
not a winger for sure. But they say he's a striker. If he starts as a number 9, he drops stinkers after stinkers.
Yeah.
He's just like, they call him Brother Teresa.
No, but to be honest, like, it was like the first 15 minutes, I was like, okay, they're trying some patterns, trying to, like, go forward, and they're like holding on to the ball. But it seemed like Brighton were just happy letting them have the ball because they knew they were going to be inefficient in front of goal. And
they started well, like 10-15 minutes, and then Deserby changed a little bit. They didn't have answer after that.
Like,
Brighton
Gross
could have
started
scored
pushing
like
up
5-6 goals.
Oh, definitely. Brighton outplayed them like massively. Like in the second half alone, they could have had
not even with their first team. It was their C team.
Yeah.
For me, it was the efficiency with which they scored the goals. They was like, they didn't break a sweat.
No.
It was like, yeah, pass. These we know these guys are not going to do anything, so let's just pass it in. And Welbs is scoring the goal.
I mean,
I love Welbs.
It could be a controversial opinion, but I love Welbs too.
Like, I love Welbs too.
When he played for United, when he played for United, I didn't hate him. That is a big
I liked him even when he played for United. He was a proper team man,
Yeah. And then he came to us. He always played well. He always gave 100%. It's so great to see him in this Brighton team. He deserved this team.
Yeah, like the second goal, I guess. Yeah, second goal. I saw some stats in Sky Sports. In the second or first goal, I don't like. Yeah, second goal, there were 10 players involved and they had 28 passes.
Yeah, 30 passes. Yeah,
there were 9 players involved and there was 30 passes. United players couldn't get near them.
The best part is like Ten Hag coming out and saying something about like, oh, Brighton team together is this, that, and like they are. And
that team cost 16 million.
16 million versus your team, which is $1 billion team. It was so much fun to watch.
He's selling lies to his fans. I mean, like, he needs to be given time. There's no two thoughts about it, but as a manager, you're supposed to put in a better performance like this, a better performance. Definitely. You're playing at home. That's supposed to be your fortress where you have not lost in like 30 games or something. And the way in which they were like literally broken down very easily by Brighton. They didn't break, like Brighton didn't, I don't think they put in too much effort into getting that win. It was very, very, very easy for them.
Okay, so moving on, the other interesting game at least was Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace that went to the last minute. Aston Villa winning it in the 87th minute, where they came back and they got the 2 goals in. I mean, I didn't watch the game, but it was, interesting enough, I guess.
But it was, I think, again on the same time as the United game. So all the focus was on the United game. I didn't
Yeah.
even feel like changing the channel, you
The
know.
only thing we can talk about the game is like how the rules are like making these results happen. Like
True.
they scored like 10 or 15th minute. The same with Tot Spurs.
Yeah.
So which is good. Yeah. It's
But-
like 10 minutes of extra heart attack if we Arsenal start playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was surprising too because in our game the extra time was only 4
4
5
minutes,
minutes of in
Which
each
was
half.
a valid thing. I think we didn't do any. That game didn't have anything apart from the goal.
Yeah.
No, but there were some injuries. That's why I was surprised. Like there were 2 big stoppages
okay.
for like head injuries, and I was very surprised that it was only like 4 minutes.
But
Yeah, which is
okay,
good,
so
yeah.
moving on, Newcastle versus Brentford was
Oh,
a
I
1-0.
watched that match. It was a bore fest.
Yeah, I felt the same too. I was watching for a little bit and then I was like, no, this is not
I
worth
tell you,
it.
the fact that not a penalty for sure.
Was there a penalty for Villa though? The one
Yeah,
that
Yes,
Villa
yes.
had a penalty. Yeah,
No, but was that an actual penalty? I saw
I
the
think
height.
yes. I think yes.
yeah, he got pushed and tripped. Yeah, but this one definitely wasn't a penalty. The player like got lot out of it. It wasn't a
Yeah,
penalty. It should have been a
I thought the
nil-nil draw.
same thing. Yeah, I thought the same too. And then Callum Wilson celebrating like he scored the greatest goal of all time was like, I mean, he missed a sitter before that, so I was not
Yeah, I
impressed
think
with
this
it.
was like you said last time. I think this was a win which was needed. I think if they had lost it, there would have been pressure on Eddie Howe, like for sure.
Mm.
But like again, talking about goal celebrations, we should definitely mention Hannibal's goal celebration. I thought he had won the World Cup for a second, you know.
But
So
okay,
that was...
the other manager who I wanted to talk about is like Pochettino and Bournemouth draw with Chelsea. Bournemouth as our Chelsea is like one of the bogey teams, but still like Chelsea for me,
They can't score goal.
they
But
cannot score
they
a
hit
goal. They
post.
cannot do
They hit
anything
post.
right. Yeah,
They hit
that
post twice.
Yeah, it was like, what is happening here? Because like I think Sterling is playing really really good, but still they are not able to do anything. And that new guy, I don't know what his name is, Jackson. He's playing good. Nothing is converting. Nothing's working out.
I don't know, like their XG is still like 1.5. It's like watching like Brighton under Graham Potter. They do everything well, but they don't score goals.
Yeah, but also
which is
like
required for you to turn point. So I don't know, like Todd Bowley is like a madman. So Poch, if this continues for 3-4 games, Poch might be out. Given that Flick is free now, you never know.
I mean, also like Mudryk, he felt like a player who was nothing to play for. He's actually really, really bad. I don't know if he's really, really bad or he just lacks the confidence. But he looked really bad when he was on pitch.
I don't know, like he's an 80 million player and all. I don't know why we were ready to pay that much in the first place. But yeah,
Thank God we
it's
didn't.
not his mistake. So yeah, I think it's tough. There are like too many new players in the team for him to shine as well. So I think this season will be a transition for them. But given that their owner is like a stupid guy, I don't know. Chelsea are like in a rut. Like Arun said last time, Poch is like a really good manager who can take them to the next level. But I don't know. It's up to the owners. If
I'll say the same thing for me. Both
Pochettino
and Ten Hag, both of them have to be given this season. Like otherwise, you're going to go back to the same old cycle and you're going to start from scratch again. I don't think either team needs that. So for me, both of them have to be given.
2 other games. I don't have anything to add on, but if you guys have, you can talk about it. The Nottingham Burnley and the Fulham Luton Town. Fulham won 1-0. They've been churning out results. That's all I could say about them. they are playing decent football, but they are getting the results to match, like 1-0s and
Yeah.
those
Luton
things.
are done. Done.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
games in, I don't see Luton surviving
Yeah,
this season
yeah.
either.
Luton, Burnley are not doing well either. So it's going to be Luton, Sheffield, and probably a fight between Burnley and Everton. That's where I see it going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Burnley and Nottingham, it was 1-1. Burnley even got a red card, so there was nothing much to add on. So that's our take on, this game week. And let us know your comments in, and reach out to us if you want to talk as usual. And do like, share, and subscribe. And I think we might have a live before the game, the Champions League game. So watch out for the
Oh,
space. Thank
after
you.
7 years, right? Yeah. Finally.
Yes, we'll talk about it during the preview. Thank you, guys. Bye.